Michigan is made up of 2 peninsulas that are full of great outdoor activities. I'm Tom Dalton from the Emmy Award-winning PBS television program Under the Radar Michigan, and if you like the great outdoors, you're going to love this great state. Check this out.
Johnny Panther Quest? Well, it sounds cool because it is. Johnny Panther Quest Ecotours take you on natural adventures throughout Michigan's wild water backcountry for an experience that will blow your natural mind. When he's not using his superhero name, Will Houghton is the wild waterman who knows and loves every inch of these Everglades.
I gotta ask you, Johnny Panther Quest is probably the coolest name I ever heard in my life. You either love it or hate it. It's after an old hokey Ricardo Montalban B movie. He played a Florida Everglades Indian running barefoot through the swamps busting poachers. So we used to go down to Florida in the winter, racing motorcycles, and to stay in shape, we would run through the swamps. So we called it Johnny Panthering.
How far is it to the Everglades?
About 30 seconds.
Oh, it's that close? That's good.
I gotta tell you, I never had any idea that there were Everglades in Michigan. We call it the Everglades of Michigan minus the poisonous snakes and alligators. And as you'll see, it's pretty close. I was gonna ask you, are there any animals in here that are dangerous other than humans? Well, we think we saw a panther 2 years ago, or a cougar out here.
Perfect, Johnny Panther Quest.
Exactly.
Hey, what's the best time to come out here?
When you're breathing. The alternative's not so good.
Today's journey took us deep inside one of the most untouched habitats in Michigan, the Shiawassee National Wildlife Refuge.
How do you know which way to go up here?
I go whichever way I want. I usually go up around the island. This is a confluence of the Shiawassee on the right and the Shiawassee River on the left. And when I was a little boy, the water coming in from the left was blue-green, and the water coming in the right never froze. Over the years, it's done a complete flip-flop. All the water coming in from the left comes from downstate, Flint, Fenton, Holly, Chesning. The water coming in from the right comes from up in northern Michigan, Wixom Lake, Stanford Lake.
How big are the Michigan Everglades?
18,000 acres or 32 square miles. It's part of the largest watershed in the state of Michigan. It drains over 9,000 square miles. It's one of the few watersheds in the world that flow in a northerly direction. The Amazon and Nile are a couple of other ones. And they call it the Shiawassee Flats because there's only 2 feet of vertical drop from St. Charles to Saginaw Bay, which is roughly 32 miles.
This isn't a 3-hour tour, is it?
No.
I always have to check that when I go on a boat.
I bill them as 3 to 5 hours, but yes, you are on the epic 3-hour tour.
What kind of different tours do you do?
I have several different trips and very technical names. This tour we're on today is called the Wide Part. Then I also run a trip called the Narrow Part, which is primarily through the Shiawassee State Game Area. Yeah. Then I have a tour called the Marathon Trip, where we go all the way from St. Charles to Saginaw and back.
Wow.
I have what I call the Cheap Trip down by east of Flint on the Flint River, which is really pretty in the fall. And then I have a tour called the Dam Trip, which runs in northern Michigan just west of Oscoda on Cook Pond, and we go from dam to dam. And for the more adventurous, water skiing, tubing, dune climbing.
Well, I heard you also have corporate team building trips. You have romantic. I heard you have a Mile In Club, but I don't even want to ask you about that.
You don't?
No, I don't even want to know about that.
All right. Well, you know what? Okay.
Yeah, but I hear you've got romantic trips. You've got corporate trips. You've got. I mean, it sounds like you're extremely adaptable, like nature.
It is. It's what I do is I cater to each individual party I guide. Like I did a team building trip on Monday, and there's a very posh bed and breakfast in Saginaw where I can pick couples up out of their backyard, drive them into the sunset, bring them back under the stars. They crawl out of my boat right into their room. So when I bring people out, it's real casual. It's almost like a mini Las Vegas. What happens in the boat stays in the boat.
Right.
But basically, I supply cooler ice and a bag of pistachios. People bring whatever they want to eat and drink. Cameras, binoculars, highly recommended. And we go out and rip and tear to their heart's content.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this. This is my 19th year doing it professionally, and I've been doing it my whole life for fun.
The passion Will has for these natural wetlands is powerful, sincere, and intensely contagious. Not only did we get to tour and learn about an area most people don't even know about, we got to see at least a half a dozen bald eagles along the way. And for someone like me who's never seen one before, it's hard to describe how cool of an experience that was. The whole trip was filled with good humor, great conversation, and some pretty awesome stories.
What's the most rewarding thing for you personally about doing this?
when people shake my hand and thank me. I mean, this is my church or my playground. So when people say that I've far exceeded their expectations, that they had no idea this place existed, or they're going to go home and tell their friends, that's really rewarding. I used to work for a photographer who shot the Red Wings. And one day we were wiring up the Yost hockey arena, the U of M barn, and I came out from under the bleachers and this guy's yelling at me, Will. And I go and I'm looking at him, he says, I've got goosebumps. He says, you don't remember me, do you? And I says, no, I don't. He says, I'm that kid you took out and showed all those eagles to when I was 8. Here he's going to college at U of M. I mean, sorry, but it's incredible.
If you're looking to improve your quality of life, just let Will share some of his life with you. I guarantee when you're done, you'll wish you were Johnny Panther Quest.